Greetings, folks. I, Michelle Keane, a former client of Solicitor Terry Gorry, has now raised serious concerns over what I can only describe, in my opinion, as a conflict of interest, professional misconduct and damaging public commentary by Solicitor Terry Gorry in relation to an ongoing defamation case where I'm the defendant. Solicitor Terry Gorry, who had previously been paid by me, Michelle Keane, for legal advice, attended the defamation hearing that I was involved in, as I was the defendant, this month at Tralee Circuit Court. Despite having no formal role in the proceedings, he had actually nothing at all to do with these proceedings. The case has been brought against me, Michelle Keane, by a political figure. Following on from the court appearance, Terry Gorry published a public analysis of the case on his social media platforms, where he stated, "If you make defamatory statements about someone, you better have evidence to support them." His commentary, I believe, was clearly aimed at me, Michelle Keane, who was perceived as endorsing the plaintiff's position and disparaging my defence. I'd also like to note that Solicitor Terry Gorry drove 3.5 hours to Kerry from Enfield to sit in Tralee Circuit Court to hear the case. Look, adding on then to further controversy, Solicitor Terry Gorry also referred to me, Michelle Keane's prior general election campaign in Kerry, stating that she was unsuccessful, a remark seen by many as a personal and political slight. He also allowed public comments beneath the posts, opening up the flood door for ridicule, reputational harm and prejudicial discussion of an ongoing legal case that I was involved in. I know Michelle Keane has called out this solicitor's Terry Gorry's behaviour as what I believe a serious breach of trust and professional duty, stating that Terry Gorry accepted payment from me for legal advice. 2 years later, he attends a court case uninvited, publicly comments on it in a one-sided way, and exposes me to harm online. This, I believe, is not the conduct of a neutral or ethical legal professional. What I do believe in, it's a public attack by someone like Solicitor Terry Gorry, who once had a duty to act in my best interest. I now have raised a formal complaint to the Legal Services Regulatory Authority and to the Minister for Justice on the grounds of a conflict of interest as a formal legal advisor, a breach of duty of confidentiality and impartiality, inappropriate public commentary on an active legal matter, and online conduct that may amount to reputational damage and harassment. But look, folks, this incident raises wider concerns about how solicitors engaged with public platforms and whether ethical boundaries are being upheld in the digital age, particularly in relation to former clients. I, Michelle Keane, now am calling for a full review of this conduct by the appropriate regulatory authorities and for higher standards of accountability from members of the legal profession who use their platform to influence public discourse on sensitive legal matters. Terry Gorry, solicitor, accepted payment from me for legal advice. He later showed up at my court hearing and then posted about me 4 times online, offering one-sided legal opinions, fueling public commentary and personally criticising me. This, I believe, is a blatant breach of professional boundaries and betrayal of the trust that once existed between a client and solicitor. In one of his posts, Solicitor Terry Gorry wrote, Everyone is entitled to a good name and their reputation. Well, I have news for you, Solicitor Terry Gorry. This is the only piece of advice I will be taking from these 4 online posts. I am now seeking justice, and I will do whatever it takes to protect my good name. But look, this incident highlights the urgent need for regulatory clarity on how legal professions engage with social media, especially when their commentary may influence public perception or undermine the rights of those he once represented. I'll keep you updated on this. And in the meantime, I, Michelle Keane, am keen on my country, and let's make Éire great again. Gorry Míle Maith Agaibh.